If you want some, come get some.
This is such good
I am the visionary. I am a revolutionary. I am Seth.
Give it crying. I can't give the belt to Dusty, but I can give it to my mama. I can give it to my mommy.
Acknowledge me.
Lately, What is up?
Yo. It's your boys, and we're back with a brand new episode of Rasslin with Ryan. How you doing, Mike? Tell the people how you feel.
Doing all right. We are here. We're live on a Tuesday in Pomona and Laverne, California.
Is it great to be alive on a Tuesday in Laverne and Pomona, or what?
Yeah, live on Zoom.
Shout out to CM Punk that's how he opens all his promos now.
Exactly. But yes, sir, we are live. We're recording today's podcast. And what's the topic today, Ryan?
Matches that we feel should have been 5 stars, whether it's like personal opinion or matches that were given like 4.75, like on the verge of 5 stars. So I know I got quite a bit. This guy says I have won a certain person too many times.
You do. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, because he's had that many potential 5-star matches.
And don't say it's just because he has that, because we all know it's because you have John Cena so far up your butt.
No, you got to
admit John Cena.
You got to admit some of the Cena matches I have are actually
like 2. You put 2 John Cena matches on there, but this isn't a list of your favorite John Cena matches.
It's not. It's 5-star matches. I got a lot of them.
Out of the entire WWE history,
I've got a lot more than you think.
You have John Cena on there 8 times.
It's not all Cena.
8 times. John Cena's not had nearly 8 5-star matches.
Yes, he has.
No, he has not.
You think The Rock has? You think The Rock and Hogan?
We're not talking about The Rock. We're talking about how many times you have John Cena on this list.
There's like 3 of these matches of his that you actually agree with.
Maybe I can put like maybe 3.
There's 3, yeah, and 3 of them I have are 3 you can agree with.
Okay, but he's had good matches. I'm just saying they're all not 5-star worthy.
Okay. This first one I'm gonna say, I think you can agree should have been 5 stars. John Cena versus AJ Styles, Royal Rumble 2017.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a 5-star match. To me, that's John Cena's last great match.
But you know what the crazy thing about that match is? They were in the ring the whole time.
Right.
They never went outside the ring.
Right. Yeah, no, that's absolutely one of the, if you can have a match just strictly inside the ring where you don't need to have any outside outside weapons or any kind of foolery outside, if you can just leave it in the ring, that's how you know you have 2 great competitors.
Yeah, and it is like the crowd was into it. You know, it really could have gone either way. You know, I know it was memorable because that's when Cena won 16. He tied the Nature Boy.
Right.
But I told you, like, that's my personal favorite match of Cena's. Yes, you have Cena versus Punk, but this match was like a whole nother level. Like, I think this is a match where people were like, oh, like John Cena actually can be like a true technician.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Look it. I'm not faulting you for having John Cena on there. I'm just saying, look, that many times.
This is another
match, times.
This is another match I think you would agree with if you've watched it. I don't know if you've watched it.
Okay.
John Cena versus Shawn Michaels, Raw in London, 2007.
I think another. If that's
that one, they wrestled like almost an hour.
Right. Exactly. If that's not
and the crowd was into it the whole time. The fact you have 2 men who already had a WrestleMania match, which was a great match, by the way, and then you have a random match on Raw, and they turn it up, and they wrestled for nearly an hour.
Right.
And like it wasn't supposed to go that long, but they were doing so good. The crowd was into it the entire time. Like that, in my opinion, is one of the greatest matches in the history of Monday Night Raw.
Right.
By far.
Yeah. And I think they had a good WrestleMania match, a really good WrestleMania match.
They did. One thing I will say is Cena and Michaels, like even though they didn't face off in the ring too many times, they had tremendous chemistry when they did get in the ring.
Hmm. Right, absolutely. Tremendous chemistry.
And
Um,
I especially with with a guy like Shawn Michaels who's praised for his in-ring work,
it,
being able to put on like a caliber match like that with a guy like John Cena who isn't known for his in-ring work, I think
mhm.
it got
Well,
people
at the
thinking like,
time, Cena really
yeah,
really wasn't known for his in-ring
yeah, at
work.
the time, and I think his matches against Shawn is what really opened up the eyes of people that were saying like, oh, see, he can't hang with the best of them and like, the in-ring technicians, and then it proved like, no, he can hang.
Yeah, and so that's just proves the markability of Shawn Michaels. I mean, look, that guy can work with anybody. He can work with a big man like The Undertaker, or he can work with a brute like John Cena, or he can
Yeah.
work with a smaller guy.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I do have HBK in a few of these. I think this is one that not only you would agree, but I think all of the viewers would agree.
Hmm.
Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, WrestleMania 25,
Okay.
the
Yes,
greatest
absolutely.
match in WrestleMania history.
If that's not the greatest match in WrestleMania history, then it's number two.
Yeah,
But pound for pound, though, probably I
yeah,
would agree.
pound for pound, like it's by far the greatest WrestleMania match in history. Should have been 5 stars. I don't know how it wasn't rated 5 stars, but like.
Right.
It was and both entrances for this match too were incredible. Shawn Michaels coming in with like the light and then Undertaker with the dark. It was really
Yeah.
cool. The match was back and forth. It could
Yeah.
really go either way.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that match was tremendous. And another match I have that I don't know how many people agree with it, but when they ran it back the next year, I think Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker WrestleMania 26 is another should have been 5 star match.
Right. I don't know. I disagree on that front because the WrestleMania 25 match was just iconic, right?
Yeah,
You
but
had
but
both.
also the WrestleMania 26 match was not bad at all.
It wasn't bad.
It
I
was
just don't think
amazing.
it lived up to the WrestleMania 25 match. I mean, the WrestleMania 25 match was basically the both of them, the both Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, even though they were older at that point, both of them were still at the peak of their abilities in the ring. Like that was like truly like the last maybe year that The Undertaker you could say was really great in the ring. Because after that, it really went downhill from that. Shawn
Yeah,
Michaels, oh, even though older, was still really, really good in the ring,
yeah,
and
and
both of
to
them
think
came.
both men were in their 40s.
And the thing about that match too is we hadn't seen it in such a long time. The last time they had faced each other was you go back to October 1997 at the
Yeah,
In Your House pay-per-view.
and and a fun fact into their WrestleMania 25 match. At
Yeah.
that point, the Undertaker had never beaten Shawn Michaels 1-on-1.
Yeah. I okay, I was wrong about that. The last time they had faced each other was at the Royal Rumble in 1998 where Shawn Michaels injured his back.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the
but yeah,
WrestleMania 26 match wasn't that. I mean, it was good. It was really good. It just
it
wasn't
was
as
still worthy of being the main event.
right, obviously, but like it wasn't as great as their WrestleMania 25 match.
I would say the WrestleMania 25 match is better because it was, but
Hmm.
I still think at WrestleMania 26, I still think it
Yeah.
was a 5 star
Hmm.
match.
Exactly.
At least in terms of the storytelling going into that match of it being Shriek
Right.
versus Career.
Right.
I feel like that's why I give it 5 stars because of the storytelling of that match.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. What else do you have on your list? And we should
Uh
clarify something too. The reason why we're putting together this list is really because what there's David Meltzer, who's a wrestling writer, journalist, whatever you want to call him, and he puts together these 5 star stars basically, and he rates these matches. So it doesn't do it just for WWE, he does it for he's been doing it.
AEW, all the wrestling
Yeah,
promotion.
yeah, for decades he's been doing this. And so it's really subjective when you rate a wrestling match because everyone's taste in wrestling is different, and wrestling is like very often compared to ice cream because ice cream can be different flavors and everything has
You like
different
what you
tastes.
like, you like what you don't like. Like
Exactly.
a match that I like might be a match that you despise. Like you love Rock versus Hogan. I don't.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about that. I'm not sure where was it rated? Was it rated
Three,
5 stars? No.
three.
3 stars. Okay.
It was rated 3 stars.
Let's talk about Rock versus Hogan because
Like,
I will
one thing I will
argue.
say, I will say this. I think it was better than 3 stars, but I don't think it was 5 stars.
I will argue this. Wrestling, professional wrestling, is not just built upon what happens inside the ring.
It's
Professional
the crowd.
wrestling is the crowd, it's the atmosphere, it's the story, right? It's all these things combining together. It's not just the technicality of what the two guys can do in the wrestling ring. Obviously, you need that. You
Yeah,
need the
but,
ability to put on a
yeah,
performance in the
but
ring, but the performance also comes from being
the
able
crowd.
to control the crowd in ways you can have them in the palm of your hand, whether it's the lows
And,
and it's the highs. And then
and
also star power. Star power makes a huge difference in matches. So you take two of the most iconic wrestlers of all time, Hollywood Hulk Hogan and
and
The Rock.
and of their respective generations. And
Yeah.
I think heading into this match, I don't think anybody expected the crowd to react the way they did.
Exactly. And also, too, I think you would agree wrestling is built upon moments, moments
Yes,
inside
yes.
the ring.
That was a great, I will say, it was a great moment, to see Hogan essentially pass the torch to The Rock, you know, especially because Hogan was notorious for not putting people over. But in this case, this was a case of like, no, see, this is Hogan actually giving back. He did the smart business. He
Hmm.
put The Rock over, which
Yep.
inevitably was the right decision. It was the right move.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, look, people still look back all over 25 years or over 20 years later of the moment from the match where Hogan was hulking up in that
Hulking
moment,
out, yep. And the crowd was just eating it
eating
up.
it up, eating it up. They're on their feet. Hogan's hulking up. The Rock is trying to punch, and he does the classic you. And, he does the punches into the big boot, and then he hits the leg drop.
Yeah.
Jim
And,
Ross goes, he
and
beat Andre the Giant with
and
that
I
boot.
don't think we've ever seen the crowd get that hyped up for Hulk Hogan. Even when he was in his prime in like the 80s and 90s, I don't think we ever saw the crowd that much behind Hogan.
I mean,
Other
they're
than
really
this
if it wasn't like
moment.
a top three reaction for him, it was up there.
Oh, it was I would say it was probably the biggest pop he's ever received.
Yes, and so that's why I rate it as a 5 star match. I mean, people can disagree. You can
I
disagree.
I won't deny the crowd was excellent in that match. I think the crowd made that match.
Hmm.
I think in terms of the wrestling, I'm not a I I don't think in terms of a wrestling match, it wasn't that good of a match.
Yeah, yeah,
That so like I don't disagree with you with the crowd. I don't disagree with you being a great moment. I agree with you on that. Just in terms of like inside the ring, like the wrestling, it's not my cup of tea.
yeah, because it didn't have John Cena in the match. I'm joking.
No, that
I'm
no.
joking with
No, I really just
it.
don't think I don't think the match itself was all that. It was the crowd that I feel like most people remember it because of the crowd and
Hmm.
because of like
Yeah,
how crazy it was to see like them just go nuts for
yeah,
Hulk Hogan.
definitely.
So,
Yeah,
but another match I have here. I think you're gonna like this one. Triple or no, Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 21.
I think because ChatGPT is telling me something different here because it's saying that Meltzer rated it 5 stars.
No, no, he rated it at 4.75.
Okay, ChatGPT is obviously wrong then.
Yeah, but no, and I'm shocked that he didn't give HBK and Angle 5 stars because those two put on a clinic. Like you have two of the very best in ring performers ever.
Well, you know how I just said wrestling is not just about the in-ring performers. This one is all about the in-ring performers. I mean,
Yes,
they had a good storyline, right? Not
good
great.
story,
Yeah.
great match,
I mean, just two of the all-time
and
greatest
it
in-ring performers of all time. Like I
and
said.
it's crazy because Kurt Angle had the ankle locked in for like what felt like an eternity. He
Oh
had
yeah.
Shawn Michaels locked in it for like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
And the
mean,
fact that Shawn Michaels hung on until the very, very end, and the crowd was like, "Oh, is he gonna get out? Is he gonna escape? Like, what's gonna happen?" Like,
yeah. I mean, look.
in terms, if you want a pure technical wrestling match, watch this match.
Look,
This is the match you want to watch.
you talk about WrestleMania moments, WrestleMania matches. That's what WrestleMania the stage is built for. To have two peak performing wrestlers in the ring at the same time, giving you an absolute clinic, classic. That's what WrestleMania is all about, and
Oh
this
yeah,
they presented that on the biggest level.
and both men really up their game. Like Shawn Michaels goes to show why they call him the showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania. He always steps up when it comes to WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Kurt Angle is just freaking Kurt Angle, man.
Yeah, exactly. What else is on your list?
This is a match I have. I don't know if you'll agree with it, but I have The Undertaker versus Triple H, WrestleMania 28 inside Hell in a Cell.
You know,
It was deemed end of an era. That's
yeah,
what it was labeled going into it. I like the story going into it. I like Shawn Michaels being involved, being the referee.
yeah.
And in my opinion, this match gave us the greatest kick out of all time.
Triple H was definitely in the twilight of his career around that time. Undertaker was dealing with he was so banged up and injured.
Oh
Undertaker
yeah.
still gave a great performance. Both of them. All I mean, even Shawn. I mean, like as a referee, they came together that night, and even though it wasn't like peak performance, I still think it was good. I wouldn't rate it 5 stars, but I would. It's definitely a 4-star candidate for me.
Yeah, I know. I think this match gave us the greatest kick out ever.
Yeah,
The
because you
sweet chin
really
music
thought
ended the pedigree and Undertaker. I think that is the greatest kick out in the history
because
of,
man, when
of
Shawn Michaels
WWE.
kicked Undertaker like that, and and Triple H hit the pedigree for a
You
split
thought it was
second, you
over.
really thought that the streak was over.
Yeah, even the crowd thought it was over.
Yep,
And when he kicked out, it was like, oh my God. So I
exactly.
think that match gave us the greatest kick out ever.
Yep, exactly.
And I give props to both men
Hmm.
for give it their all, especially with them not being in their prime anymore. But they really went out in what was deemed an end of an era for that. That was a story, the tagline heading into that match. So
Absolutely.
I know I'm saying a lot of matches. What are some of the ones you rate 5 stars? I don't want to just make this
Well, one
matches
that
out.
comes to my mind, and ChatGPT is also telling me that this was not rated 5 stars. It was saying that this was a 4 and a 1/4 rated match. Is WrestleMania 17, the main event, WWF Championship, Stone Cold versus The Rock.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was not rated 5 stars. That
to me,
He's
if
right about that. It wasn't
if
rated 5 stars.
to me, if Shawn Michaels and Undertaker is number one, like the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, I think this is number two because look at all the stakes that were in
Yeah,
this match, right?
and and
You
yeah,
had you had both Rock and Austin, the two mainstream uh headline guys leading the charge for the Attitude Era for WWE. Their second WrestleMania match for the title. Austin coming back from almost career-ending neck surgery. Rock
this
was
was
champion.
the second of their three.
Yeah, this is the second of their three.
Okay.
Rock was on top. This is right before Rock started making movies. And so you had the storyline coming in that Austin coming from neck surgery, he needed to prove to himself that he could still get it done. And it's almost like how John Cena was desperate to win the title. That's why he
Yeah,
turned heel. Well, this is
this
like
was a way it's like The Rock because The Rock had never beaten Austin.
so this was Austin trying to prove to himself that he could come back and win the title. This was the genesis of that.
Oh, was this when he aligned with Vince?
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
not only did they
Okay.
go in there, they had a banger of a
Yeah.
match, a brawl, a great match. But then they also like had the
Story going.
storyline of
Story did
Austin.
not the story not just going into it, but even after the match.
Yes, exactly. Of
It's like, oh my
Austin.
God. It's like JR says, Austin just made a deal with the devil.
Exactly. Yeah, Austin turning heel. And you look at you could definitely argue that it was not a great move for WWE to pivot Austin as a heel because that's when
Even
people
Austin himself has said, yeah, no, I shouldn't have turned heel.
exactly. But
It made
at the
for great
time,
TV at the time.
yeah. At the time, Austin, this is what Austin wanted to do. They turned heel. He aligned himself with Vince McMahon, and that was huge. That was
Yeah.
shocking.
And especially I feel like another factor of it, it's like who knows how much longer Austin had left at this point.
Yeah.
They're like, is this like his last hurrah? Be like, let's add some shock to it, make Austin a heel.
Hmm.
And so I think that's like another valid thing too, is like they didn't know how much longer Austin had in his career at that point.
Right, exactly. And they feel like they had owed it to Austin because he did carry the company.
He did. He
Hmm.
he, he did, and it's like, not only was the crowd behind him, but I know off screen, The Rock and Austin had a lot of respect for each other off
Hmm.
screen. So
Yep.
I feel like it was just perfect because it's like the
Hmm.
respect the two have for each other, and like the crowd was into it. They it was the I would say the crowd was it felt like a 50-50 crowd.
Yeah. It really did. It was more maybe at the end of it, it was more 80 20 pro Austin, but
Yeah,
um
but throughout the match, you could tell there was definitely those who were like going for The Rock, and then those going for Austin. So
yeah. And so yeah, I mean, look at the aftermath of that too. I mean, then you have an Austin as a heel, then you go into the invasion, and people really felt like that WrestleMania, that main event was the end of the Attitude Era.
and that WrestleMania is a WrestleMania that many fans consider the greatest WrestleMania of all time.
Right, exactly.
WrestleMania
Yeah,
X7
yeah,
or 17, but
yeah,
a lot of people to this day still consider that the greatest WrestleMania of all time.
exactly.
And for good reason, because not just that match, but like that whole card was like perfect, like from start to finish.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, great, like I
Yeah.
said, if you build WrestleMania to what you expect it to be, having a main event like that is ultimately going
Yeah.
to be top
I
heavy.
would I would agree with you in terms of like if you know if HBK and Taker are one, then a Rock Austin is two, and I feel like it's fair if you even switch them. Like I think that's a fair and valid argument if you
Yeah,
switch them.
yeah, exactly.
But it just depends on like, oh, are you looking more at like pure storytelling or more of like a pure wrestling ability?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, two big mega stars in the main event. You really like haven't had that. Probably like we didn't get that until maybe WrestleMania 40, until Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, or maybe because even 39, Cody was like
He was
still on
still
the come
like,
up.
yeah, he wasn't like the guy yet. He wasn't being positioned as, the next face of the company.
Yeah. Do you know what Meltzer rated Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40?
5 stars.
Let me check. Check.
He did
Cat
no,
PT.
yeah, he did rate it 5 stars. I looked.
You looked? All right, let's see what
Yeah,
Chat GPT says. Are
yeah,
they
he
lying
rated it
again?
5 stars.
Like I said, Wrestling Observer Radio features summaries reports that Meltzer awarded the match 4.75 stars.
No, he rated it 5.
Hmm. 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 We'll see. We'll see. I'm joking. No, it's saying that he rated it at 4.75 stars. So three and a half, four and three fourths. So, but
No,
I
it's
think
5.
that's a if it's not if it's
It
not
should be a
it
5 star
should be a
match.
5 star match because of the same reasons I rate like Hogan and Raw, right? Because of all just like not only the match itself, but like all the gaga that goes into it.
Wow, I guess they didn't rate it 5 stars. I thought he did.
Yeah, no, to me
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
clearly
no,
a 5 star
I
rated
I
match.
agree with you. That match should have been 5 stars. Not only was it a great like wrestling match, but
Hmm.
the crowd, the story,
Yep. You
shock. We
talk
had
about
what I think were the greatest 5 minutes as a professional wrestling fan.
oh my God, I think hands
With
down.
with Cena coming out, The Rock, freaking Shield Seth Rollins, The Undertaker.
Yep. I mean, this was WWE being back on its throne in terms of like wow, like
Like they
wow.
are the top.
Yeah.
They are the top promotion.
Let's talk about this for a sec because I think there's a lot of elements that go into it that makes it a 5 star match, but also like okay, you could talk about the Bloodline storyline, which people could say it went on way too long, right? But peak Bloodline from like 2022 to 2023, peak Bloodline. Take that whole storyline that revamped WWE out of the pandemic era, revamped WWE through the whole Vince McMahon scandal stuff.
Yeah,
It's
and
taking over.
and to think we had gotten a bloodline story before, but only like briefly, only for like, oh, it's the Usos and Roman, blah blah blah, like bloodline. But
Hmm.
this was like, no, we're actually getting like legit heel faction overpowered bloodline.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and then also you take in the Cody apart from this. Cody Rhodes with the company for many, 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 many years, as a young guy, leaves the company, goes through New Japan, TNA, and then starts AEW. And then you think while he's in AEW, basically starts that company with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and all those guys that he's going to be a lifer there. Things happen and he falls out with Tony Khan and WrestleMania in 2022 in Dallas, he's
And
back
we
in
were there,
WWE,
and we were there.
and we were there. And you think, wow, like they really stole Cody Rhodes away. Like they got Cody Rhodes back actually.
Yeah,
And
and,
then
and
just
this
yeah,
was like the first case of of someone from AEW going to WWE because before it was WWE to AEW.
yeah. And then this starts this whole Cody redemption arc. He goes into WrestleMania 39 in LA, loses the title match. He wants to bring the title home and the title that his dad never got to win. He wants to bring it into the family. He loses that match at 39 and you're thinking, "Man, all right, like what are they going to do with Cody?" A whole year goes by. He has a couple matches with Brock and that he does that and then he wins the Royal Rumble again. So now we're set up for Rhodes Reigns 2 at WrestleMania. And you're thinking, man, like they really have to put the title on this guy because or else
Be like
that's
they
a
gotta pull the trigger here, or it's now or never.
exactly. Exactly. But little did we know that it was basically going to be Avengers Endgame at WrestleMania 40.
Yep, the WWE Endgame.
Yep. So that's why I think there's a lot of elements that build up into what WrestleMania meant during that time last year. And I think that makes it a 5-star main event. Like that's what
Yeah,
you
no,
want the WrestleMania
I
main event to
agree.
be.
That is what a main event should be.
Like for the title, two guys, but just this ultimate storyline.
Yeah, and then you have like Solo coming out, and then you have Jimmy coming out, and then Jay.
The
Like
only thing that's missing from that is we didn't get Stone Cold Steve Austin as a runner.
it made more sense with the Undertaker.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did. The Undertaker has history with Roman and The Rock.
What?
The Undertaker, when you look at
What?
it, look at it in this perspective. You know how The Rock calls himself the final boss?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the true final boss of WrestleMania?
Yeah, but it wasn't about
The
the
Undertaker.
Undertaker. It was not about the Undertaker. No. The guy that needed to come out in that spot was Stone Cold. Stone
Then
Cold was the ultimate foil to The Rock.
tell him to lower his
He
asking
had
price.
double knee surgery. He didn't want to
Yeah,
go out there
yeah,
limping.
and then tell him to lower his asking price.
Yeah, whatever. Undertaker's cool and all. I like seeing an Undertaker, but like,
Yeah, but I think it was a
I
bigger
mean,
flop
hey,
because
you
it was
could you could
unexpected.
have had Undertaker out there just to get rid of Seth Rollins. Nobody needed Seth Rollins out there limping around. He really didn't make any difference there at all. He got his butt kicked.
You just show when you think he's like, I will be your shield.
Yeah, he dressed up for no reason because he got laid out immediately.
Like you would have.
Yeah, no, exactly. But no, Austin should have taken that place. It didn't make any sense.
No,
Didn't make
and
any sense for Seth
yeah.
Rollins to be out there. Austin should have been out there. Even if he went out there in his
Didn't make sense for Austin to be out there.
what are you talking about?
Didn't
Austin
make sense
Stone
for
Cold
Austin to
Steve
be out there.
Austin.
What
Who
history does Austin have with Cody?
it may
What?
no The
What
Rock.
history does he
The
have with
Rock.
Roman? None.
The Rock.
Yeah, but when you look at Undertaker, Undertaker has history with Taker or
Sure,
with
you can say
Rock
he's
and
had
Roman.
matches with them, but like Austin would have man, that would have made it top of the top, man. It is top of the top, but like that would have made it extra top of the top. You just don't know, man. You just don't
Yeah,
know.
Yeah, well, we're running low on time, so let me get not. I'm not going to get through all of them,
Yeah,
but this is another match. We were there. This is a match that I felt should have been 5 stars. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39.
I think so.
It
That was
started
that.
off slow, but then it really picked up in the middle and the end. And I think that's when people started to see Rhea as like
Oh
a
my
game
gosh.
changer, as like a
Yeah.
big time player. Like, okay, yes, she is the future of the women's division. Like, she has a future
Yes.
here. If
Yeah.
she beat, you know, the current face of the women's division, Charlotte Flair, and puts on like a 5 star classic with her, that says a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like that was honestly, I've seen a lot of wrestling. I've seen a lot of women's wrestling in my life. That was really the first time that I could ever definitely tell you I was like, man, I was on my. No, we were there, so like my eyes were glued to
Everybody
that
got on
thing,
their feet,
on my
like.
feet, just clapping. And I've seen some good wrestling matches from women from the past. You can point to a lot of great wrestling matches, but not like that. I think that was a true 5 star match for them.
And then another match that I'm surprised did not get rated 5 stars, another women's match, was Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky at Evolution.
Hmm. Good match. Good match. I think, yeah, but that's more of like the 4 star category for me. But
I think it was 5 star because the crowd was crazy going into it. It was truly back and forth. Like, we saw them go outside, and I think seeing the Naomi cash in also factored into it
yeah,
being like a 5 star match for me because it was everybody's like, oh, Naomi's gonna cash in on Tiffany Stratton because she's on SmackDown, and
right,
so I feel like because of the shock of having her cash in on the Raw and
right,
the world title, like added it to me.
yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah. Now
And
I'm
then
good.
another, I have two more women's matches that I think should have
Okay,
been
yeah.
rated 5 stars. Charlotte versus Becky at Evolution 2018, and
Okay.
Sasha Banks versus Bayley in their Iron Woman match in NXT.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I think those are all categories for 5 star matches as well.
Yeah, especially like Prime Bayley in NXT was something else. Like, she was putting on like classics, and I feel like Sasha in NXT was like a whole different breed.
Yeah,
And I think they had the first ever women's I think they had the first ever Iron Woman match. So I
I
don't think
think
they
so.
had ever
Yeah,
been an Iron Woman match ever.
yeah,
And boy did they deliver. I haven't seen that match like all the way, but I've heard like good things in the clips I've seen. It's like, oh, everybody's like, yeah, this match is like,
yeah,
top tier.
yeah. Now we can leave off of this one here. And I don't know if you're gonna agree with this or not, but I think it's highly considered one of the most iconic matches of all time. I don't know, people obviously remember this match, and it's changed the wrestling business in many different ways. The way we view wrestling, the way spots are viewed, right? After this, people had to up the ante in many, many different ways to compare. Um, but the match I'm talking about is King of the Ring 1998, Undertaker versus Mankind, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah,
The-
you know what? I agree because like that match I feel like really changed like what a Hell in a Cell match should be because that became the standard for Hell in a Cell matches,
yeah,
and I haven't really seen Hell in a Cell matches live up to that outside of maybe CM Punk and Drew McIntyre
yeah.
in
But
terms of like in terms of being like, oh my god, like crazy, like
yeah,
unexpected.
I mean, look, there is no Hell in a Cell match that will ever compare to Undertaker versus Mankind.
Oh,
Absolutely.
for sure. And
I
then
mean,
seeing Mankind being thrown off the cell, like,
you really like. I know anybody's first reaction to watching that is, "Oh my God," but like watching that live as a child, and not even as a child, people that were watching that live, and I remember watching that live, that pay per view. you legit thought that you just witnessed a murder.
But yeah, no, Undertaker kind was like
Yeah,
that match was crazy. I think when I first watched that match, I was like in shock because I think that's the first like real like violent match that had seen.
yeah,
Or at least saw clips of, in terms of like seeing him being thrown off the cell, like
yeah, exactly. And so look, that match is obviously like something that it was a spectacle, a pure spectacle. Not only the first bump off the cell, but then him getting dropped through the cage, landing in the middle of the ring, and that chair coming down. I mean, it's something that's going to be never topped again.
yeah.
Spots are just crazy now, but that is going to be the ultimate spot
It,
forever.
and I think that was actually my intro to Hell in a Cell matches because I think that's like the first Hell in a Cell match I remember like seeing highlights for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah, dude. I mean, but yeah, I mean, great list, great composed list you put together there.
yeah,
Uh,
I left off a lot. I left out a lot of matches,
it's okay. It's okay.
like,
We don't need to
but
get into John
yeah,
Cena's
but I know we're
catalog
like
here.
time thing. So,
Yeah, but all
but
good.
there's been a slew of matches like throughout.
Exactly. We'll
That
ask the audience if there's anything we left out that you feel like is should be a top rated 5-star match, then obviously leave it in the comments channel on YouTube or Spotify or whatever.
Yeah, we want to hear from you, not just us, because we want to see like, what type of like wrestling fan are you? Did you grow up with like the Attitude Era? Did you grow up like the Hogan era, or like the more recent era, like me?
Right. Exactly. But all right. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with another one soon. Later.